Hey guys, this is Shiro, and this video is kind of like a reply video to a video Joey or the anime man made like a short time ago, I think like 5 days ago, and it was about why Re:Zero is not a time travel show in Joey's opinion, or according to the evidence he showed us. But in this video I'm going to tell you two different things. The first one is, well, why Re:Zero is still a time travel show. I'm just gonna elaborate on his concept more. And the second one is a pretty mind-blowing theory, that will just show you what Re:Zero also could be. It's completely different from what everyone thought so far, and has nothing to do with time travel, dimensional travel, multiverse travel, whatever. It got nothing to do with it, according to that theory. So yeah, anyway. Joey, if you're watching this, leave me a message. Totally not desperate, but let's just start this. Now, first things first, I highly recommend you watch Joey's video on why Re:Zero is not a time travel show before watching this one, before watching this first part, because you might not really understand what I'm talking about without watching it, unless you know about time paradoxes and all that stuff normally. Then I'm not sure how many people do, but just watch his video. I'll leave it in the description below. And now, about time travel, there's something really important you have to know. Time travel is always also related to travel in space, because just imagine you travel back 50 years in time from this point on, and you stay fixed in your position in the universe. Well, 50 years ago, you would be God knows where, probably just in the middle of nowhere, because the universe moves, every single galaxy moves, the Milky Way moves, our planet moves, and you'd have to be able to calculate where you would have been in the past, like in a fixed position in the universe. You'd also have to travel in space relative to the time you're traveling back to. And seriously, if you can't do that, then that's good. So if Subaru had a time travel ability, he'd also have that space travel ability, just before we're starting all of that off. Now, if Subaru actually had a time travel ability, if he traveled back in time with his therefore broken body, because he's on the verge of death, he can't really do that, but let's just imagine he can. Then he'd be as a second body and would see the original Subaru, and with his presence in the past, the timeline would change. Even if it's just slightly, or even if you don't notice it, it would still be a different future, which would lead to him, even if he traveled back in time, not being the same being, therefore ceasing to exist. He might exist until the point in time where the other Subaru goes back to the past, but he's just a time remnant till then. A time remnant is basically something left behind from time travel that already ceased to exist, but at this moment still exists. But in the future it will cease to exist. It's kind of complicated, but I'd highly advise you to read up on that. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So, if Re:Zero was a bona fide time travel show, he would have to send back only his mind, because his body is already tattered, but we'd still have the same problem. If he goes back, there's the time paradox, and he'd just be a time remnant for that while, and the same thing, he would cease to exist. The entire thing is totally pointless and kinda impossible in a really weird way. But it is possible if you include what Joey already mentioned: dimensional hopping, or dimensional travel, timeline travel, multiverse travel, whatever you wanna call it. For that, Subaru has to travel to a different dimension, universe, whatever you wanna call it, and in this universe take over the place as the current Subaru there. He wouldn't cease to exist in his timeline because, well, he didn't really disturb the past in his timeline, so he would never cease to exist, and it's possible. But there's a problem with that. According to Joey, if he goes to the different dimension, let's just call it dimension here, even though I'd prefer universe, well, if he goes there, he'd still have to time travel. It's still time travel because he has to go back in time first, or at the same time as traveling to that other universe. he can also go to the other universe first and then go back in time. But seriously, he still has to time travel. He can't really just not do it. Because, well, I mean, if he just traveled to a different dimension or universe, he'd still be in the future of that universe and not at that kind of safe point where he's always starting out from. So yeah, there's still time travel. I mean, if you only want to say it just to classify it, then I guess you can call it a dimensional travel show, but there's still time travel in there. There's no way around that. I'd tag it with both of them. But there's one thing that made me a little bit suspicious, and that actually made me think about my theory that I'm gonna present to you in a moment. And that is that jealous witch. According to Beatriz, Subaru got this power or was influenced by the jealous witch. In whatever manner. Maybe she gave him his powers, maybe she's just playing with him in a weird way. But if he was dimensional traveling, yeah, that just wouldn't make any sense, because the original jealous witch from the original dimension that he's from, she'd just lose him anyway. For her, there is no gain in that. Sure, an alternate version of herself in a different dimension that she has no connection to or can't have a connection to would have her fun, I guess, for a while, but just, yeah, that made me a little bit suspicious, because it's kind of confusing me. It doesn't really fit into the whole travel thing. So, here's my theory. What if ReZero actually didn't have anything to do with time travel, dimensional travel, universe travel, whatever you want to call it? Also not switching timelines, nothing of that. What if it was nothing? None of these options. Think like that. And then you might come across a certain skill. Future prediction. Subaru has the skill to predict the future, but he just doesn't realize he has that skill. Like, he thinks he's actually traveling back in time, even though if you thought about it, it would be impossible. So, what I'm trying to say with this, you remember the save points, right? Like in front of that Apple Store guy, or when he's waking up in the bed. These points are when he started subconsciously using his ability. Using this ability, he first lives through different possible futures and just sees what his actions will do there. Of course, this one timeline he lives through ends with death, so he returns to that save point and lives through another one. The goal of that is to find the one route that would make him the happiest, or the one route that would lead everyone to a happy end, basically. Kind of cliche, but that's basically what he's subconsciously doing with this ability, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, it kind of makes a lot of sense. Like, think about it that way. When he just started in this world, he gained this ability to see the future, or see different possible futures. And with that, he was afraid and just used it in front of that guy. Like, not even knowing that he used it. From that on, the first possible timeline went on, and he saw what would happen if he actually followed through with all of these decisions. But it didn't end well, and he died. Yeah, Emilia-tan also died. Sucks. So he thought, yeah, let's just try another way. But he didn't really know that he was just experiencing a different possible future. Instead, he thinks he's also actually living through all of these possible futures, which is confusing him and making him despair and going crazy. Because actually there's just one timeline, and everything else is just possibilities he's imagining. Like, think about it like that. The only thing that made me think for a few seconds, like, how it would fit in is this jealous witch. But it is actually possible for her to give him this power. Maybe she just wants to drive him insane, or maybe she actually has some other goal. Maybe the jealous witch isn't even the bad guy. Like, I don't know. I only watched up to episode 7. I have no further knowledge. I really don't know anything past this point. I didn't read the light novels. Sorry, but yeah, anyway, this jealous witch could have given him this power. Maybe to even free her. Maybe she's cursed, whatever. Like, we know that Emilia kind of, like, used the name before. Maybe she has something to do with her. We seriously have no idea so far. But we know that it's possible for her to give him this power, which results in in Rum and Rem fucking hating him because he stinks like a witch, and Betty telling him that he has the stench of the jealous witch, which is apparently the only witch in that world. Like, I highly doubt she is, but apparently she is. Well, anyway, you might have been wondering about, like, that hand creeping up to him, to his heart, making him feel fear when he tried to talk to emilia-tan about what the fuck's going on, like, trying to explain to her, yeah, holy fuck, I died so many times. There's a few possible explanations for this, like, if you believe this theory, heck, it might just be a dimensional travel show. Like, I don't know, like, there may be some mistakes in the theories the author made then, but yeah, anyway, if, like, this hand could just be showing him the extent of his powers. If he actually talks to emilia-tan, the timeline will end, like, because he can't really predict what's gonna happen, or maybe his ability can't really calculate it. Or maybe it's just the jealous witch telling him, nope, boy, you gotta do this all on your own. You are not gonna tell anyone about it. Could be as easy as that. Yeah, it could be. Like, even in his imagination, he can't really tell anyone about it. So he can't really even find a path where he tells them. Kind of sad. But another thing is, in Joey's video he said that all his friends might be dead and they're just alternate versions of the original emilia-tan, Feld and Ramrem, all of them. And in my theory, they would actually all still be alive, because there's just this one successful timeline. Like, just, yeah, you remember the last successful timeline that actually brought him to this bed? Like, when he used his ability again, it kind of makes sense, to be honest. Of course, I'm totally not trying to convince you that that's the only thing that makes sense or anything, because I believe in it myself. Like, I'd never do that. Okay, I kinda am. But honestly, just tell me what you think about that, because I think it makes a lot of sense. Maybe this theory has some holes, maybe I didn't think about something. Let's just think about it together in the comments below, or just send me a message, whatever. And seriously, just tell me what you think. I really want to know, or tell me your theories, because, you know, there's a lot of different possibilities and I can't possibly think about all of them by myself. So if you like this video, leave a thumb up. If you enjoy watching this video, just leave me a message or something. I'm so fucking desperate, seriously. Yeah, well, anyway, just, I don't know, just leave a like, sub if you like this kind of shit, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
Try to test me.